Greetings, and welcome to yet another Girl Who Don't You Know. It's Marilyn Green, the hostess with the mostest. So I'm so excited that you can join me today, and I have a fantabulous guest. But before we bring her out of the green room, I want everybody that's listening to know May 17th, which is today, is the official 5-year anniversary of just podcasting in general. Girl Who Don't You Know is the signature one or the flagship one that I started. But since then, I branched off. I have a theme of snapshot. I have chatting it up, which we're going to do today. I also have a brand new cousin, which is called Girl What Don't You Know. So you can see now that I really do like podcasting, and it's the fun part of my life, I guess. I'm not saying I don't have a life, but I do have one. But nevertheless, today is the day, 5 years, and I say, woo! And 5 years ago, my very first guest was, at that time, she wasn't a doctor, but she's always been a doctor in my mind. It's Dr. Rose Jackson Beavers, and she is the mental health wellness guru for me. And I'm going to bring her up right now. And before I do that, please share this, like this, subscribe if you're on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys so much. So let's bring her up now. Let's see. Here she comes. Hey, Rose.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm trying to make
You
sure I
looking
don't hear an echo.
okay? You good?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Rose. So I just said about it's my 5th year, and you come on every year. Yeah, you come on
Yes.
every year, and you are my go-to person for mental health wellness. And even though you shared other people with me, but I know you are the go-to. And what's so fascinating about you, Rose, is that you branch out and you try to encompass everybody. I know you've done things with a faith-based, but in other words, I think you've written, the book was about youth, I think a lot of different things. So you're just not
Yes.
staying in one avenue when it comes to mental health wellness. So this is that month. I'm just excited to have you on the show. So, all
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. And I'm excited
Yeah,
to be here because it's special. I mean, with
it
you
is.
saying your
It
fifth year,
is.
and I think it's the 17th. The first year was the 17th, right? Five
It
years ago
was.
was the 17th on the 17th. I
It
think it
was.
was. Yeah. So that's exciting
Yeah.
to be your guest every anniversary.
Yes, I'm excited for you to be. So, Rose, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know how I feel mental health is the key, because I always say this, you can have $1 million, but if your mental health is not good, then it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. So let's see here. Now, one of the things I think I want to touch on first, and I think you can already have understood that was something that we need to really concentrate on when it comes to mental wellness. It's about suicide and Black youth. What is really going on, do you think, is that, and I'll just say, in my neck of the woods, that's just something that we are not used to seeing, Black youth and suicides, but I think they are the rising numbers of children that are committing suicide that are African American. Can you speak to that, Rose, a little bit for me?
Yes, first of all, let me say that when we talk about suicide, we don't say commit. And the reason we don't say the word commit is it sounds real harsh, real rush, like they were committing a crime. And you
Okay.
say that they died by suicide.
You're
And
right. You're right.
so we don't want people to, it's like almost like a stigma again. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what's happening, and when I read the statistics and I read what's happening across the country, and I talked to some of my counterparts, we noticed a huge jump in suicide since COVID. And we know that it has a lot to do with depression. It's a lot of things going on in society. I believe a huge role plays from social media. It's a lot of
Mm,
teasing and bullying going on social media. It's a lot of fakeness going on where people are showing these really wonderful lives, and other people might think that there's not so wonderful. There's also chemical dependency. There's things, people are depressed, and sometimes even with help, they don't get over it. And so you're going to see that. But I was talking to one of my friends who teach. He's one of the national instructors for suicide and mental health, and we were talking about, I said, it seems like every time I open the newspaper, get on the internet, get on Facebook, any social media, that I am getting all suicide information, people taking their lives. And he said,
mhm,
one thing is that we see more because of social media. In the past, we would just see a local stuff, local news, or you see
mhm,
world news, but now we're seeing everything across the country, across the world, everything, because everything is right here in our face. But it truly is an increase. And it has to do with people are more angry, more depressed. They lack more things than they thought that they, would lack. And they're just not handling it well. Some people, like I said, it's a chemical imbalance, and they may
mhm,
not be receiving treatment.
mhm. Wow. I mean, I've attended what is that, not webinars, but conferences in which they are actually talking about it even more. I don't know if they're throwing dollars at it, but they definitely are talking about it. It concerns me, it really does, because it's like,
Mm.
what is going on, like you said, the chemical imbalance in your head that's making you say, hey, I just don't want to, I'll just say it, contribute to society anymore. I don't
Mhm.
want to do anything. I am just done with this. I'm out. And that's why I
And
wanted to say, let's talk. Go ahead.
don't forget, Marilyn, in our community, you and I from the same place. You know that before we started with COVID, and at that time, I saw a large increase of agencies talking about mental health. We were going public on social media, trying to get the message out, removing the stigma. But there's a stigma still. It's still difficult for people. I know people right now who knows the work that I do, who would tell me, I know all about mental health, but they still won't get help, and they're still depressed. They're really going through it, but they said, I know about it. I'll go when I need to, when I want to. But yet you see them sitting in the house in the darkness. They won't answer the phone. They won't come to the door. I know people that I'm trying to reach now, even in my own
Mm,
family. But
mm,
it's just like the stigma is still there. People say, well, I hear about it. I know it's a stigma, but I still can't get past it. And so
wow.
that's why I think that we're seeing a lot more. We're seeing young people in our community. We've been hearing a lot about young kids, 5, 6, 7 years old. And you think, where are they getting this information? How do they know to do this? But
Hmm.
when you're depressed, it's such a persistent feeling of sadness and such a loss of interest in everything, your life. It deals with your emotions, your thinking, your behavior. And I was talking to my niece last night, and we were talking about psychologically. When
Hmm.
it's hard to deal with issues that deals with that brain like that. We think
Yeah.
that, oh, they can get over it. They can get over it. Even with drugs, they can get over it. But you're talking about something that you're dealing with psychologically. That's very difficult.
Yeah. I agree with you with that. And you don't know, people are just, let me just say this, and I'm gonna use the word, people are so pretentious these days, okay? And you kind of alluded to the fact that you looking good, you're looking this, you're looking that on Facebook. But it's like my son had to tell me, Mom, the people are taking pictures, they always smile, but that don't mean that on the inside they're smiling. And we
Right,
see
right.
that and we capture that, and we're like, well, I've been depressed. Now, I know last time, Rose, when you were on, we were talking about when do you need to really go and move to go see somebody about depression? I think you had a
Mhm.
number of
I did.
days or something
Mhm.
of that nature. Can you talk about that right now?
When it's a major depressive disorder, when it lasts more than 2 weeks and it affects a person's emotion, their thinking, and their behavior, and their physical well being. And it also affects your ability to work and have satisfying relationships. When you're depressed, you don't want to go to work, you don't want to talk to anybody, you just want people to leave you alone. And then you're unable to carry out your usual daily activities. You might go into a home that used to be immaculate, and now everything is just disorderly. They're not moving, they're not doing anything. It's very difficult for them to kind of get ease themselves back into society. And that's 2 weeks. And we say if you notice that you have a relative or somebody you know who's been depressed for more than 2 weeks, really encourage them to get help, because that's right. It's because it's a now a depressive disorder now. So
Yeah.
you really need to work with them and encourage them. And I say even do a warm handoff with them. You know, I'll meet you there, I'll take you there, but it's time to talk to somebody.
Right, right. Someone says here, okay, I think you just talked about it. I forgot this was live. So Marion Bowl Kirk Jackson said, what are
Uh
the
huh.
warning signs to look for that a person
Mm-hmm.
may need help? Yeah. So I kind of we talked about. Is there anything you want to add, Rose, on that? Thanks, Marion.
Yes. Yes, you when people have traumatic experiences, you know that they're already going through things because of situations that happen in their family. So you have contributing factors of depression. These might be a death in the family, victim of crime. They're dealing with a loss of job. These are things to start looking at. A breakup in a relationship. You may even start noticing a weight loss or a weight gain. They become very irritable. They won't talk to you. And it's just a lot of different things going on with an individual. They're withdrawing from society. They don't want to have anything to do with individuals. So those are some of the things that you're going to be looking for.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and and nowadays it's so important. I love that what's that QPR, right? I love
Yes,
QPR. Uh
yes.
I do. That's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's that training that's simple and easy, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
question, persuade, and refer, right?
Yes.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
QPR training because one thing I know, Rose, is that I might not want to talk to you, Rose, like you said earlier, but I might talk to somebody in the grocery store that might look friendly, right?
Uh-huh.
And that friendly
Yes.
person probably is going to be me, and I'll just say, "Well, hey, how you doing? Have you know what I'm saying? Because
Uh-huh.
everybody can't get to everybody. We know that, right? And
Right.
so I might just like you might have on the clothes I like that day, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna talk to them and just say things. Somebody came up to me yesterday and said, well, my life has changed a lot. Now, I'm just not invasive, and I didn't think it was the right time to say, well, what you talking about? But that right there could have been a cry for help, right
Mm-hmm.
there, to
Yes.
say,
You
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
I'm not a therapist. I do training to train people about what to look for and how to make sure that we're referring people and understanding the reason behind why people don't get the help that they need. And so, just one second. So, making sure that people get the information that they need. So, I often get stopped in grocery stores, anywhere I go. And it's funny, my daughter used to always say, Mom, why did everybody stop you? And I'm ready. I think it has to do with not only a friendly space, a face, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that people draw to people they believe that care. But we should not be diagnosing people without a license or without the proper documentation, but make sure that we're referring them. So I keep information with me. 988 is what I always carry with me. So when I'm seeing anybody and they look at me and they talk to me or they feel comfortable enough to just ask me, who are you? Because people sometimes just recognize you from wherever. And they just say, who are you? What do you do? And then when you tell them, they may say, well, I need that help, or I've been trying, but I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I provide that information to them. but I'm very leery. We have to make sure that we're not out here trying to diagnose people without the credentials, because a lot of people do that and they steer
They do.
people wrong.
Yeah. And let's talk about that as well. Sometimes people with credentials, they be somewhere over to the left and the person really is over to the right. So, I'm saying that no, I'm not that. Don't try to, what is it, DSM 4, 5, whatever.
Uh,
Don't try to look in a book and then say you got all of this, so you are that, right? And people that people
that's
that
why I
are
like you,
licensed,
Marilyn.
huh?
That's why I like you. I said, that's why I
Right.
like you. You were so funny to me. You say, because the truth is, people are going to draw to you, but if they don't, we have to make sure we let them know. Don't stop. You got to find the right person for you, because it's like you and I, we connect, but there might be another person who I'm trying to seek out support from, but I don't connect with them. I don't want them. I look at them and I'm like, they don't even know what I'm talking about. They're so far out of right. So when I tell people about counseling and getting therapy and this kind of stuff, they always say, well, can you find me somebody who understand me? Okay, well, what does that mean? You talk about cultural understanding. You talk about
Hmm.
race understanding. So, but you can't give up, because we don't jive with every personality. We don't feel
No.
comfortable with everybody, but you have the
Mm-mm.
right to say, this is not working for me. I need to find somebody else. And that's why I like you, because you're like, you just can't go to anybody because they're going to pull out all this stuff and they're not, talking the same language. And so
Right.
I understand you from that perspective.
Yes, that's right. And then, now I got the 988. That's the number, right? Isn't that the number
Yes,
that they can call
that's
or
the
give to
crisis
someone?
hotline. And when they call
Okay.
the crisis hotline number, they usually try to find someone locally connected to you and
Okay.
closer to you so you can get to it. And I've used them before while standing with a person who's asked me for help. And I've been amazed by the service that we receive. I know I was standing with a person and talking to him and working with him, and we called that number, and within 15 to 20 minutes, they had already dispatched somebody to us. So I do know that it worked because I've utilized that number,
Okay. Hey,
and it is
I'm looking at,
national.
oh, it is now. And I
Yes.
know about the 988, but I just want everybody to know that if you know somebody that perhaps is struggling or needs some help and may not want to talk to you, you can do a warm pass off, give them that number, 988.
Hmm.
It's easy
Hmm.
to remember, just like 911. Easy to
Yes.
remember. Now, so everybody know I do ask my guests to give me some questions. Sometimes they would like me to ask. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But this one right here is really interesting that you wrote, Rose. You said I guess people come up to you and say, "Why mental health? Aren't you afraid of those people?" So, what do you tell them? I mean,
You
that's what
said
you said.
why mental
You
health?
said I guess people come up to you and say, "Why mental health? Aren't you afraid of those people?"
Oh yeah, I
As
get that all the time.
Yeah.
I
So
get that all the time. Yeah, I just try to help people, and your intuition. You have to use intuition in every situation. And if I'm in public and somebody walks up to me, I kind of assess the situation. And normally, to be honest with you, I'm not always alone. Usually, when I'm in public settings, I'm with someone, and so I'm not afraid of people of that nature. If my intuition say be careful, I'm very careful. I don't get in cars with people. I don't put people in cars with me to take them anywhere. I always have cards with me. I keep
mm-hmm,
9A cards all over the place. I even have the Behavior Health Response Team, which is BHR, that's located in St. Louis, Missouri. I have their cards with me, and so I make sure that I have the information. I can hand it to them. But if someone is in a position where they look like they could do harm with me, I'm going to be very careful. I'm not going to go up to them. I'm not going to be close to them, and I'm not going to let them walk up on me. I'm going to get to probably to the nearest safest place that I can get to. But I am generally not scared of people. I think because I just pray a lot too, and I ask God to
mm-hmm,
just guide my footsteps all the time, because I know that His desire is for us to help people and to be
mm-hmm.
servants, to make sure that people are getting what they need, especially as He sees it and as God wants it. He wants us to be helpful. So I'm not
Right.
gonna let people do ask me, aren't you scared of them? They bipolar, they got all this stuff, and I just tell them I pray before I do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of your questions was what keep you grounded. I hear now it's just belief, faith, your faith-based part of you
Yes, my faith.
keep you grounded. Now you did say something here that's kind of funny. So somebody listening later or right now might want to know this one. How have you stayed married so long? And does mental health have something to do with it, Rose? You
And
you asked it. You put the questions
well,
on here.
you know what?
You
I don't even let me tell you, I don't even remember sending those questions to you, but I
but you
get
did.
those. Every time I do interviews with people, I've been married 40 years. So when you look at when I got married, I've been married almost half of my life, really. And
You're
so
right.
people always say, how did you stay married? It's going on, I think, 41 or 42 years. How did you stay married that long? And it takes a lot of prayer. And yes, you have to stay emotionally connected, and if you feel that you need to talk to somebody, you talk to them. I'm going to seek help. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit back and let myself get real ill and I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to become depressed and not get anything done. But more than anything, I talk to my husband. My husband and I talk. We try not to ever go to bed angry at each other, so we talk about it. But if that doesn't work for me, I have friends who are therapists. I go and I talk to my therapist friends and try to, deal with whatever's happening. We fix it, But as far as me and my emotions and my physicalness and all of that, if I need to talk to somebody, you're going to see me in a chair somewhere because I'm not going to sit there because I know about it. I understand. I know the damage it can do to you. I'm going to take care of it. And that's why I'm such an advocate about it because I've been seeing this ever since I was 7 years old. I didn't
Okay,
deal with
talk
it, but
about
I've
that.
been seeing it. Well, my
Talk
mom, my
about
mom was
7-year-old.
really, yeah, my mom was really into helping people because she understood mental health issues. She understood depression because she had experienced it. And in experiencing it, I
Mhm.
used to see all of her friends and church folks come to the house and they would talk, and my mother would always refer them to counseling. My mother was not educated in that manner, but she knew that
Mhm.
it was important to take care of your health, your mind. And my mother would
Yes.
always refer people. And I would see that at 7 years old. And when I was 13 years old, she packed me and my siblings, my four sisters, into a car with her because she was seeking counseling herself. She took us to meet her therapist. And I don't know, I think I mentioned this to you before. That therapist,
Mhm.
13 years old, I sat in that chair watching that psychologist, and I was like, I'm going to be just like her because my mother was telling me that's what you should do. You should be a doctor. You
Right.
should do this. Well, since you putting all this mental health stuff in my presence, I thought that's what I was going to do. So the lady that I sat in her presence was Dr. Amanda Luckett. Luckett. And for people who don't know her, she started off, I met her in East St. Louis at St. Clair County Mental Health Center. And I always
Okay.
wondered whatever happened to her. I knew she left to build her own centers because I was in the room at 13 listening to her and my mom talk. I knew she had gotten married. Do you know, 2 years ago, on talking here with you, somebody texted me and told me where she was, and I was so
Wow.
shocked because she's been in my presence the whole time, and I used to see her, and I used to say that lady looks so familiar to me, but I could not
Mhm.
place her at my 13-year-old self as the lady that I
Wow.
admired so much that my mother was telling me, I want you to go to college and you to be this doctor and be like her because she helps people. And I thought I was going to do it until I actually got to college and I found out, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be involved in mental health at all. Not at all.
At all.
Not at all. And then 2015 came in my 50s. And all of a sudden, everything that I had seen growing up, now that's what I'm involved in.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I love that they actually heard you on the show and they said, "Well, hey, I can help you out." Oh my God, how exciting, Rose. How exciting.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I know that you do a lot of great work, and one of the biggest ones that I really like is that the faith-based part of it. And
Mm,
the faith-based part of it is that to me is that a lot of time people will say, just pray about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And just pray about it, whether it's coming from the pastor, a church member, or whatever, does not cut the mustard, if you will, all the time, right? So you have been busy or still busy teaching pastors and clerk, all them type of people, deacons and all them, teaching them how to really deal with mental health and mental, in the church,
Mhm.
right? So how is that going, Rose? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I retired in 22. And I said that I was done with it. And occasionally I would still talk to people because they recognized I couldn't go in a restaurant without people coming up and talking. And so I was pulled back in from pastors calling and saying, I know you're retired, but can you come talk to my people? And I would still
Mm-hmm.
go back into the churches and I would do the work. The issue with people in the church, what I found is that it has something to do with faith. If I go to seek help, I've heard from members say, but that means that I don't trust God enough, right? If I have to go see a therapist, I'm supposed to believe in God so much that I know He's going to deliver me. And I just tell them, God is going to deliver you, but don't you know that God delivers us through people as well? There are doctors that He gave them skills, He gave them the mental mind to seek this, therapists. You have all kind of occupations where God has made sure that these things are here for us. So He works through people as well. Prayer is excellent. I would never tell anybody not to pray because prayer works. It works in every instance for me. But I also know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have to also let those other things that God put into place for us to work as well. And that's where you have to kind of let people know it is not a lack of faith to seek help when you need it. So I don't go into the churches. I don't talk to them about their doctrines. I go in there specifically to change the way that people see mental health and seeking the help that they need. So that's why they call me a faith based consultant, but I train in that area. I don't go in and try. Now, if I know, if a pastor called me and said, Rose, we have lost somebody in our church, somebody passed, and our church is not doing well. Can you come in and talk about grief? Do you know what I do when I get that phone call? I
What is
call
that?
a certified therapist, a licensed therapist. Can you
Mm-hmm.
go with me? And we do it
Right.
together because I
Right.
know that people are going to be trying to give me to diagnose them. I'm not crossing over into that. So I want to make sure that I
Don't do
have
it.
them the right help at the right time. And then she's also scheduling appointments with them, talking to them, and they're getting what they need. So yes, I get a lot of calls from pastors. I still do about 3 presentations a month. And I also travel to do them. So it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
what, like I said, this is not what I thought I would be doing as a retired person. I thought I was going to be just enjoying things and
No. No.
out here, but we don't know what God's intentions are for our life. And when I look back on it, it's just been there all the time. 7 years old, 13 years old, 18 years old in college, trying to decide on whether I wanted to go in this field, and then the whole big blank space from 21 to 50. I don't have anything to do with this except training social workers and training counselors to know how to work with their clients. I wasn't in this. I wouldn't even get my license. I was, you know, working up under individuals who saying, Rose, get your license. I was like, I'm not ever going to do that. I'll train people, but I don't want to have that direct connection with mental health. That's just not who I was. And then God said, you do what I
It's like,
tell you
what?
to
Let's just let me
do.
just say, whatever, Rose, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
do it, whatever, Rose. I mean, but you just have the personality for it too, Rose. Rose, you've never changed over these years. We've known each other a long time. You've never changed. You're the same,
yeah,
and like you said, I think it's the spirit of people know who they can trust. That's all. It's about the
yes,
trust factor there. Even though you
yes,
think you retired, you never retire because the purpose that God has for you is his purpose for you. Okay. You might
yes,
retire from working with that person, but your gifts, which is without repentance, you can't get rid of them, right? So, like
right.
Marion Bo Kirk said, that's excellent role. Yes, mental health is discussed in the Bible,
It
right?
really is. And
So,
people don't think about that. They don't think about, what happened with Jonah in the well. Now you think about if
Mhm.
you was in there. Think about put yourself in the inside of there. Well, what would you be doing? You don't know when you getting out. You know you was disobedient. All the things that's going on. You smell all these smells. There's nothing in there. You just worry. When am I gonna? Am I gonna die here? That's depression for somebody like me thinking about that. And then when you
Mhm.
think about Naomi, Naomi's husband died. She lost two children. Do you think she was
Mhm.
walking around smiling about that? So that's why I try to talk. When I go into the church, I let pastors know you have the information in the Bible. You preach from the
Exactly.
Bible, then people will hear you. They will know that it's
Mhm.
okay because now that they can see, we know the stories of the people in the Bible, but we don't talk about those feelings that they went through, those
Mm.
emotions that they went through. And we need to do more of that. Because, like
Yep.
Marion said, mental health is in the Bible. It just may not be as clear as you want it to be clear in there, but God talks about taking care of your physical health. Your body is a temple. You're supposed to do all these things, to take care of yourself.
You're right. And the big one for me is Elijah. How Jezebel, I believe, was chasing him down. He had to run away and let a raven feed him, right? Come on, just think about it. You think he just went there because he wanted a raven to feed him? I don't think so. He went there because he was scared, he was running, and he became terribly depressed. So it is laced all through the Bible of people,
Yes.
and I think the prophet Jeremiah was getting slapped around. Okay, come on. So if we think about all this, we never go to the mental thinking about it, and even
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, he was
Mm-hmm.
rejected. He was
Right.
rejected. How did he
Mm-hmm.
feel? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good word, Marion. About that, and so wait, Marion also came up and said, preach. We hear you, girl. Preach. Okay, so you're right. Okay, so hey, let's get into this really quick here. Now, I know you got a book that's out called Breaking Chains, Erasing the Stigma of Mental Health in Black Communities.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I have, let me see right here. Let me get my little banners here. I got the whole name of it right here. Okay. So what's going on with this, and let me just say this, the cover of your book is so great. Anybody who has not seen it, please go to Amazon, take this name down and go see it, because when you see the cover of the book to me, I immediately wanted to say, we need to break the chains. We need to just break this,
Mm-hmm.
this stigma that's in the Black communities once and for all. But we can't do it without what? The help of everybody, right? So
Right.
tell us a little
Right.
bit about this book, Rose.
Well, I hadn't showed it to the community, like did any marketing or anything, because I was working on the other project. So at the
Okay.
same time that I finished In Jesus' Name, which was a collaboration with me and 13 other authors, I finished Breaking Chain. So Chain is like it's giving you the tools to build ministries in your church. Now, the first book that I did was Breaking Behavior Health Barriers, which was this book, Breaking
I
Behavior
remember.
Health Barriers. So that was dealing with the stigma of mental health. But Breaking Change is giving the churches the tools and how to build behavioral health ministries in their church and train the people inside of the church to
Wow.
deal with
Wow.
it and understand what's outside of the church that will be very helpful as well. So it's
Hmm.
basically, it talks to you about what happens with our youth, domestic violence. It covers a lot of topics we need to be talking about in church, but it tells you exactly how to make sure that people understand the stigma and how to do what we call warm handouts, get them to the help that they need. So it just
Love it.
basically go into the setting of the church, how to set rooms up in the church where there's calmness. Because you have people that get real frustrated and anxious in the church and their heart palpitating. You don't want to leave them in a sanctuary. You have to move them and,
Hmm.
take them to a room that's peaceful and quiet. And I talk about how to set those rooms up as well.
Okay. I mean, I love that, Rose. Rose, I love that. Hey, you guys need to go and get this book, Breaking Chains, Erasing the Stigma of Mental Health in Black Community. Not only that, that other book, what was the first book, overall, you
Breaking
guys.
breaking behaviors. breaking
Yeah.
behavior health, which deals with the stigma. How do we break the stigma that we've been taught about mental health in our families and in our communities?
Yeah, I think that's great. You guys need to go and get that. And I didn't really clear this to you, but is this the website? Please forgive my error right there.
Yes,
rosejacksonbeavers.com. Is that it?
yes, uh-huh.
Okay, right. So you guys can go to her website and get, I think it's got all her books on there. Rose didn't
Yes,
just start doing this, last night. Okay, she's been doing this for a minute, so which is a
yeah,
good thing. Rose, let me just say this for those who was not here at the top of the show. This is the day of my 5th year of podcasting, and Rose has been so gracious to always come back, and I always want her to be my guest on here because
mhm,
there are things happening in mental health, wellness, and all that is changing every day. Every
yeah,
day is something different. One of the biggest things that really upsets me, and I really want to move and do a show on, is that the black women and the black men, the suicide, okay, and the shootings and like that. So what exactly is going on? You know what I'm saying? What's going on that this is just so, and here's the part, these are the ones that are making news. What about the ones
mhm,
that are not making the news? So what
mhm,
exactly is going on with the marriages and the separation, the divorce? Not, something is not right. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So yeah. So have you kind of looked at that, Rose, as well,
We
about
talk
what's going
about
on?
it. We all talk about it, and we're trying to read, research what's happening. We see a lot of anger. A lot of people just don't know how to control their anger. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of people who are being led by the wrong individuals. They're followers instead of leaders. They've been bullied, and they think that they're with the right people. We just see a lot of depression in communities. And so we try to talk about what happens in the home. We're thinking that people need to have better relationships with their children, talk to them. A lot of young people are raising young people. I
Yeah.
met a 45-year-old grandmother, and then she's a great grandmother. No, I met the 45-year-old mother, and she had a 30-year-old daughter who had a 15-year-old child. And now the 45-year-old mother from the 15-year-old child is now a grandmother. So can you imagine that when you look at how we were raised and the age
Yes.
difference between our grandparents? They had skills. They knew how to take care of us, how to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that we were disciplined. They took us to church. They did all these things with us. They gave us this solid background. Even if we didn't have a father and a mother in the home, our mothers was on the ball taking care of us, and it wasn't no best friend kind of stuff. Your mother tell you to do something, you were gonna do it. Your dad, if your father was in the home, he tells you to do something, you're gonna do it. But you think about people don't have none of that. They don't have
They
no
die.
stability. They don't have no relationship with God. They haven't been in church. So this is what I see. I'm like, they have nothing holding them, nothing showing them, and our parents, a lot of them, they're so young, they don't have those skills to rein these kids back in. And so you find them
Wow.
on the street. They're out in the street. What 12-year-old is out in the street at 1 o'clock in the morning? I don't even go out there. I'm in my 60s.
That's right. No, no, no. Rose, I'm waking up from going to sleep on Netflix. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So what are they doing out there? Hey,
Yeah.
Belinda Mason Tucker says she's thoroughly enjoying this live, very resourceful information. You are welcome, Miss Belinda, and we are so happy that you took the time on this Sunday afternoon to tune in. So yeah, thank you so much for that comment. We really do appreciate
Yeah.
that. So here is this
So
crisis
just
hotline. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just for clarity, I'm sure they're still doing a lot of research on what is happening in our communities, and I just pray that we do something about it. That the leaders who are still out here, that you have places like Urban League and these other organizations, they're going into the communities and trying to do what, de-escalating all these problems between each
Mhm.
other. And the other thing we talked about yesterday is that if with all these fights and stuff that's going on, it started. A lot of this stuff is on Facebook. If police get on there and look at the Facebook of these individuals and type in fights and all this stuff, that stuff being planned on Facebook. Because how do all these people end up in the same place and they're fighting and then all this stuff go down? So it's a lot of stuff that's happening as a because we're not being taught how to de-escalate our feelings, how to control our emotions, and how to deal with conflict. And that's a lot that's happening.
Wow,
And
I love
guns,
that.
don't forget guns. Don't forget guns. Everybody
Guns.
got a
Oh my
gun.
God. My God,
Yes.
yeah, you're right about that, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me just give a recap here really quick. I'm going to show you her latest book, but if you go and follow her, if you go to Amazon, Amazon will also say, as I recall, follow this author. I think you can click on that as well. And then her books are there. Her books, I mean, they just, and her website, let's get that website up there. That website, rosejacksonbeavers.com. You can go there. So Rose is well known and she's really good at what she does. So Rose, I appreciate you as usual coming on. And of course, I always have final thoughts for my guest. And so I want to hear your final thoughts.
I just appreciate you continue to have this platform to help people. You do a lot on mental health. You do a lot on other areas of people like domestic violence, cancer. It's just like you're blessed to have a podcast because you're reaching a lot of people. And I'm so happy that you get a chance to celebrate your 5 years here. 5 years of good work in the community. And that's what we need. We need a lot of people reaching out because see, we lack because of education. You don't have to have a lot of degrees behind you, but awareness is what's important. When we
Mm-hmm.
are aware, we do better. When we understand what is happening out here and how to deal with issues, we do better. And so I applaud you for being
Thank
here
you.
and giving out all this information on different topics. You even do things on financial literacy. That's important because if we don't have
Mm-hmm.
that, we are angry because we broke. So we're going through. You know what I'm saying? So we go through a whole lot of stuff, and we need people like you, these people in the
Thank you.
field, putting it out here for us to learn and to be able to challenge and to do better. And so I appreciate
Wow.
you always inviting me on the 1st of May because this is a very important month. We hope that everybody is acknowledging that this is a mental health awareness month. Talk about it, call people, let people know that they're loved, that they're needed. We need you. How are you? Send them a postcard, go by their house, do whatever you need to do to show your love and your concern.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Rose having you as always, and thank you so much for your kind words. And I am just doing and just let me just say this, I get a little depressed on this too, Rose. So
Yeah.
so but I bring myself back around. I don't go to 2 weeks, I might go 2 days. But
I think we
I
all
know
do.
that, yeah,
I
we
think we
all
all
do. We
do.
all do.
We have our days. We don't smile every single day. We have issues, and that's what I think people need to understand. We could be out here, all day long talking about all the things that's bothering us and stuff, and we may have a smile on our face and we're crying on the outside. But the difference is, it doesn't go 2 weeks for us, and we seek help if we need it. And so that might be the
Mhm.
difference with us. But all
Mhm.
of us, we don't have good days every day of the week and every day of the month. No, we
No.
go through it too. I drop tears all the time. I think about my nephew. Every now and then it'll just hit me. He's not here anymore. That somebody took his life,
Mhm.
and I'll just get real sad and I'll cry. And then maybe 2 hours later, I might be celebrating something he said that was funny that I remember now. But we all go through it.
Yeah, we do. And here we go, Miss Miriam. Congratulations. The Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. Miriam, you're so absolutely correct about that. And the reason why I have this podcast is always going to be about wealth and health and wealth, because it doesn't make any sense to have wealth if you don't have health. And health is
Yeah.
new wealth. You can have millions and millions and billions and billions and trillions, but if that kidney go, you done. Okay. So it's all that, and if your mind is not right, you don't know how to spend your money anyway. So yeah, but no, I thank everybody that has come on to celebrate. Wow. That Marion, I really like you, Marion. You just being out there. She said, Amen, amen. Okay. You're right. You're right. But one of the things I know is that I do appreciate you guys being on and celebrating my 5 years. It's exciting. 5 years is a long time. And I need to have hug a podcast today, Rose, because this is easy work. It is not easy work, you know. So, but it's not at all, but nevertheless and stuff, all is well. Okay. Wait, let me see what this
Yeah.
person says. Show. She says, I'm listening to my cousin Rosetta Jackson Beavers. You know Glenda Young?
Yes, that's my cousin in
She said
Atlanta.
for the first time, and it's very enlightening. Although I'm not surprised, at this point, we all need Jesus. It's no secret. Thank you so much, Glenda
Yes,
Young, for
ma'am.
that. The cousin,
Yes.
your cousin. No, no, your cousin got it going on, Glenda. So you need to know that, okay?
And
And then
Glenda
let me
does too. I think Glenda's in ministry as well.
okay. And Belinda Mason Tucker says, congratulations, former neighbor. Okay. Let me
She
see
talking
who
to
else is on
you.
the way.
That's your
So, by
former
the way,
neighbor, I think.
yeah, okay. By the way, oh my God, that's Glenda. I haven't seen Glenda in years. I heard from her. By the way, we are all family. Hey, Glenda. Oh my. Okay. And let me see what else this person says. Okay, FYI. We are Rose's brother Chester and sister in love. Okay, I know Chester. I know Chester as well. You know, this is the East St. Louis connection here. So everybody that don't know, okay, it is all right. So thank you so much. And Glenda, I'm gonna write you, Glenda. I'm gonna have to say something to you later on. But nevertheless, you guys, I'm so happy that Rose is on here. I'm so glad I connected with Glenda now. Finally, wow. And a lot to catch up on. But please use the crisis hotline if you can. Okay, please use that hotline for somebody that you love, somebody that you don't love. Maybe they need to have a hotline, you know. So let me see. We got Deborah Clark Johnson from Texas. I'm not gonna say the place where you're from, Deborah, because we have a little joke going on with that. Hey. But nevertheless, I want you guys to please use this crisis hotline number and, you know, and give it to someone. You know, you never know. They may try to act like they don't want it. I don't want this. I don't need this. You don't ever know. It might be too dark for them one day. And they're going to say, I need this 988. All right, then. So we are going to end now, I believe. Let me see. Hold on. I know I'm a one person show at this time. Okay. So let's see here. So let me show my show. Okay, so you guys have been listening to Girl Who Don't You Know. It's me, Marilyn Green, hostess with the mostest. And so we're going to end right now, but you guys can still put comments in on anytime you want to. Please take the time to subscribe, like, you know what you all do. Okay, so let me hide this. I'm trying this thing here. Okay. And so now I'm going to put you down, Rose. I'm going to remove you. And then now, Rose, we're going to close this up. Okay. I think I got it.